Low.
Slow.
Low.
Low. Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No. You better take it slow.
I'm not here to preach.
Because you're not a preacher.
And I'm not here to teach because I am not a teacher.
So what we there to do?
Spread the message.
Then we are what?
Messenger.
Me not carrying a message.
Oh,
yes.
So
Yeah, you move so fast.
Slow down, you've got a lifetime to live. What's the worth of life on earth if you can't even give? Slow down. Debbie. Wagwan, Masha. Away I drink. You know, somebody take a cool Heineken, though. Hey, give me a cool Heineken and a red stripe beer.
Beer. Then Marsha, you're not breathe.
I am breathing as much as the air is in my lungs.
Baby, how you have a drink beer and you're pregnant?
So what?
You can't drink beer and pregnant.
Beer fatty at all,
Listen,
man.
you can't drink beer and pregnant.
Me never pregnant yet.
Listen to me. Are two kind of people me know can't drink. When you're underage and when you're pregnant. And you are the two of them.
Them set up on me.
No. Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No. Hey, go on, Brandon. Hold him. Come on, hold him, Brandon. Hold him. Hey, hold him now. Hold him now. Yeah. Got no fear. Him head lighty.
You're a big man for you. Better you all a light beer.
Remember, not all men were created equal.
And not all alcoholic beverages were created equal.
Some were created stronger.
So, sir, you have to know how,
How?
when,
When.
and what you're taking on.
What
you're taking on.
So what I say? Even me as a big man, when I drink my liquor, me have to go low.
Yeah.
Slow your roll, man.
Low.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No.
Low.
Slow.
No. Slow.
Chop, chop.
Slow.
Chop, chop.
Slow.
Chop. Bro. Oh, you move so fast. You have to
Slow your roll.
Oh, yeah, go. Oh, yeah, get home tonight.
No, no.
You want some soup?
Give him some water.
It's all right. Milk or mom?
Thanks. Bro, listen. When you drink, you have to
Do it responsibly.
I'm here to encourage people to drink. Low, slow, no. Must be 18 years or older. Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. Are we done? Man, choose a lower strength drinking no instant. I'm making red stripe beer live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad, 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 bad. Bad, bad.
Good morning and welcome to Responsibility Now. Low, slow, no. Can we get a round of applause for Quilt? I kind of feel like we can do a better job than that based on what they just did. Yeah, because I don't feel everyone can always take a theme and own it and then communicate it in a way that is so effective. Now, what we will be looking at is the role of media in communicating responsible consumption, our 5th town hall in this series, to provide a comprehensive understanding of what responsible drinking truly involves. I'm your moderator, Dr. Terry Carell Johnson, and let me start by thanking you all for making the time to join us for this very important conversation. Special welcome to our esteemed keynote speaker, the Senator Abka Fitzhenley, communication consultant and award-winning former media practitioner. Good to see you, sir. And our panelists, I think a lot of them I know. Claire Grant, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Broadcast Service and Content, RJR Gleaner Communications Group. Let's hear it for her. And Tishan Lee, CEO and Chief Creative at Engine Room Brand House. Please make her welcome. Andrew Brown, Head of Marketing at CVM Television. Congratulations on the JCC Award recently. Where's Andrew? Congratulations. Carlisle Grant, Managing Director, Digital Danes. Good to have you, sir. And last but not least, the panelists who I'm going to get to know, Rick Darby, President of the Students' Union for the University of Technology, Jamaica. Please make him welcome. Now, allow me to also acknowledge our host, Managing Director, Daph Van Tilburg of Red Stripe, part of the Heineken Company, who is well-dressed, sharper than a razor in his red blazer, and Paris Leo Ayi, Vice President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, our presenting partner. We're good to see you. So other specially invited guests and members of the media who are here with us, thank you for being here. We are coming to you live, as always, from the Spanish Town Road headquarters of the world's coolest beer company, Red Stripe. In case you never realized why I'm wearing a Red Stripe shirt. Special welcome to all our viewers online who have joined us via Red Stripe corporate social media pages, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We're so happy to have you with us, and we're going to make sure the conversation is as interactive as possible. So please listen keenly and have your questions ready. We want to hear from you, so there will be time for questions and answers. Our goal today is to continue the fight against alcohol misuse by investigating the role of media and communications in promoting the message of moderation to ultimately influence behavior change. For those of you who have not been a part of the town hall, we saw us talk about alcohol consumption as it related to mental health and illnesses. We spoke about alcohol consumption and the role of party promoters and bar owners. We spoke about alcohol consumption along with the Road Act, and the last town hall, we actually spoke about unpacking what it means to live and drink responsibly. Now, Mr. Van Tilburg will share more on Red Stripe's why in being industry champions for the promotion of moderation and the reduction of harmful use. We'll also hear from our panelists who are experts in their respective fields on the role they see themselves playing and the potential effects of how alcohol is portrayed in the media. How the media, both traditional and new, can influence the right behaviors in our society, and what is needed to hold the industry accountable and encourage even more stringent self-regulation tactics. But first, let's begin with an official welcome and context setting from our host. Please show some appreciation for Red Stripe's Managing Director, Daph Van Tilburg.
Thank you, Terry Carell, and good morning to all of you. First, allow me to acknowledge the people in the room, our guest speaker, the Senator, the Honorable Abka Fitzhenley, Dr. Paris Leo Ai, Vice President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, members of the panel, specially invited guests, member of the media, and my dear Red Stripe team. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. I'm happy to welcome you to Red Stripe and to our 5th Responsibility Now Town Hall. Our platform is used to discuss issues and opportunities to positively influence the advancement of responsible consumption in Jamaica. Our focus today is on the role of media communications, both traditional and new media, in advocating for moderation and responsible alcohol consumption. In January this year, Heineken Global launched a new company mantra to encourage the world to drink responsibly. And by now we know it. It's named Low, Slow, No. And the campaign is part of our Brewing a Better World 2030 ambition to make moderation cool and address the harmful use of alcohol. So first of all, think low. For moderate drinkers, strength matters. People should always have a choice to drink low or no alcohol beer. Think slow. There's no place for binge drinking, period. We don't want that. And think no, alcohol is for adults of legal drinking age only. If you're underage, it's a no. When you drive, never drink. Don't drink while pregnant. So think no. So this campaign is really about a testimony of the importance we give to mindful drinking choices. We are Red Stripe, a long-standing company in Jamaica, and we recognize our role as an iconic Jamaican brand. We are the official beer of Jamaica and major contributors to the socio-economic development of the country. And we're not just about selling beer. We have built a reputation for being a responsible corporate citizen through many initiatives that cement our commitment to Jamaica and to all Jamaicans. We are proud of marketing our high-quality beers and spirits in Jamaica, but we know that it comes with a responsibility and how we sell and communicate the use of our products to our consumers. And we take that responsibility very seriously. At the same time, we believe that promoting responsible consumption isn't something we can do effectively alone. It must be a collective effort. It needs a whole-of-society approach to tackle the issue of making meaningful change to inspire a better Jamaica. We must look at all the key players within our society and address how they all can contribute to advancing the moderation agenda. The media is one very important stakeholder in this matrix of thought leaders and advocates who play a pivotal role in shaping the societal roles in our society. They have an explicit and implicit capacity to advocate and frame issues of national importance. And therefore, today, we have brought together a diverse panel of experts to analyze the topic of responsible consumption and bringing strategic and practical solutions to the table. Today's Town Hall is yet another initiative to promote responsibility. And this is the right time as we are soon coming into the high consumption period of the summer season. Responsibility now is not just a town hall, it's a call to action to spread the message of moderation and get everyone to see that we all have a role to play. I want to use this opportunity to thank all our stakeholders present for their consistent endorsement of our programs and remaining great partner of our town halls. And I want to thank the Red Stripe Corporate Affairs team for always leading our efforts in promoting responsible consumption. We're looking forward to your participation in this town hall, for which we explore concepts of responsible consumption and encourage you to make informed decisions regarding alcohol consumption. And with that, I would like to thank you for being here, and I wish you a very meaningful town hall. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. I think it's about time I also get a red jacket with like the little red stripe there on the lapel. Something that you said though, and I'm not so sure if red stripe just happened to be a fly on the wall, but we recently had a conversation, just us, me and my friends, and we were asking the question, does culture shape media or does media shape culture? Something else that I took away from your conversation that I think Quilt captured very well is that the same energy that we put into hyping people to drink and to push the envelope should be the same energy that we carry as the village to tell our friends, stop, you can't do no more. If them want vex, them vex. No, you are not driving, and no, you are pregnant. So you are right, it takes a village, and we don't expect this to be on one person. So thank you so very much for that address. No, absolutely. Clap if you want to clap, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the private sector organization of Jamaica, since the inception of this Town Hall series, has lent its support to the continuing effort of Red Stripe in promoting moderation. As presenting partners, they have engaged the private sector to achieve greater reach of this important message. I remember this gentleman from the last Town Hall because he came with stats and stories and things that made us really go, aha. He put things into perspective, and he's looking around going, who's she talking about? Please welcome PSOJ Vice President Dr. Paris Leo Ayi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Red Stripe. You know, this is my fourth time at Red Stripe, and always looking to be part of your exciting events and activities. You know, this is not just the world's coolest beer company; it's the world's coolest company. Full stop. So I always want to hang out with cool people and cool stuff. Senator Fitzhenley, Daff, Managing Director for Red Stripe, Diane, my friend, and Howard Harris, distinguished panelists, I see my fellow George and Carlisle here, distinguished panelists all around, members of the Red Stripe team, where are the PSOJ team? I know, I saw Tashna. Anyway, valued members of the media, good morning. Let me begin by congratulating and commending our esteemed PSOJ member, Red Stripe Platinum Circle member, for your visionary leadership in hosting this thought-provoking Town Hall series, not just one-off. Your ongoing commitment to fostering a culture of responsible alcohol consumption is truly commendable and sets a shining example for our industry. We're talking private sector, not just beverage industry. The theme for today's discussion, low, slow, no, and the role of media in communicating responsible consumption, could not be more timely and pertinent. The consequences of alcohol misuse extend far beyond individual health concerns, and that's key. They reverberate through our communities, they strain our healthcare systems, they erode productivity, they tarnish our nation's reputation. It's more than just you. It's more than just a single person. It's a village, society. It's a brand. And yet amidst these sobering realities lies a powerful opportunity. A chance for us to harness the unparalleled reach and influence of the media to reshape societal norms and drive a transformation towards a culture of moderation, accountability, and responsible decision-making. As we gather here today, it is impossible to ignore traditional and social media's profound impact in shaping societal norms and behaviors. With their unparalleled reach and influence, these platforms hold the key to driving transformative change in how we approach and promote responsible alcohol consumption. Red Stripe's Live Responsibly campaign, featuring powerful storytelling and relatable messaging across multiple media channels, is a shining example of how to effectively promote moderation and mindfulness. As the media landscape continues to evolve and extend its reach, we call upon our partners in traditional media, television, radio, and print, to embrace their influential role as change makers. Your platforms have the power to amplify the message of responsible consumption, changing societal norms, but also inspiring audiences to make mindful and proper choices. As members of the private sector, we have a unique responsibility to harness this power and drive that positive change that we seek. We must collaborate with media partners to challenge the glorification of binge drinking and irresponsible consumption, replacing it with a narrative that celebrates moderation, accountability, and responsible actions. Social media in particular presents both challenges and opportunities in this endeavor. While we must be vigilant against the spread of misinformation and harmful influencer content, we can also leverage these platforms to engage younger audiences through interactive campaigns, relatable influencer collaborations, and user-generated content that promotes responsible consumption practices. The business case for such efforts is clear. By promoting responsible consumption, we build brand trust, customer loyalty, and a positive corporate image. More importantly, we contribute to the well-being of our communities and help create a safer, healthier Jamaica for all. Today, I call upon each and every one of you to join me in this critical mission. Let us work hand in hand with media partners to amplify the message of responsible consumption, fostering that culture of moderation, respect, and accountability. Together, we can create a ripple effect that transcends borders and inspires positive change. By joining forces, we can safeguard the well-being of our society and ensure that the joys of responsible consumption are celebrated without compromising the safety and health of our fellow citizens. Let us seize this moment and reaffirm our commitment to being catalysts of change, championing responsible consumption practices for a safer, healthier, and more responsible Jamaica, a nation where every sip is savored, every moment cherished, and every life valued. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. That last sentence is a tagline, like right there. Thank you for reminding us that it's not just the individual, but that the effects, of alcohol misuse goes into communities. It affects health, it affects economies. And I do agree with him in terms of the role traditional media and new media play. They hold that key where they can actually shape cultural and societal norms that can be absolutely new to us, and they also have the ability and the reach to call out those cultural and societal behaviors that are harmful to all of us. And so I'm so happy to have some of the best people in the house when it comes to media. So ladies and gentlemen, the continued partnership between the PSOJ and Red Stripe really speaks to the importance of this movement. As was said by Paris, it's not just a one-off, but this is something that we hope will continue until everyone feels and understands the message. It is a testament to the collective responsibility that is needed in Jamaica to reduce alcohol misuse. Now, Red Stripe, part of the Heineken company, is acutely aware that the misuse of alcohol can lead to harm. So while alcohol can form part of a balanced lifestyle, it is important to inform and educate people the responsible ways to consume the product. At Red Stripe, responsible consumption is not just seen as a business target, but a national imperative that requires a collective effort of various stakeholders to drive home its importance. One such stakeholder among the many is the government, and with that, I welcome our keynote speaker, Senator Abka Fitzhenley, communication consultant and award-winning former media practitioner. Please make him welcome.
Thank you, Terry. I think I will be able to finally mark one of my bucket list, addressing an event that is moderated by the effervescent Dr. Terry Carell. I want to commend you on your contribution to the media space as a personality that is advocating for all that is positive. And it's lovely to see you in your red suit that's complementing your effervescent personality that you bring to the hosting of these events. I want to begin by acknowledging the Managing Director of Red Stripe, Daf Van Tilburg. I want to acknowledge as well the Senior Executive of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, Paris Lee Ayu. And also, Diane, I thank you as well for the invite. Those of us who have been in the media space for a long time, I spent just over a decade there. We know of your sterling contribution to corporate life in Jamaica. I want to commend you and encourage you to continue in that regard. Now, I hope the podium would provide me some cover concerning the first point I'm about to make, but those of us in the media fraternity may know that there's a saying that a good journalist or a good media practitioner will invariably have, a belly exposed because it involves a lot of drinking for many of us. And there's a reason for that. It's a stressful job, and some people turn to alcohol in terms of dealing with stress. It's not something that we encourage, but it happens. Also, media practitioners are people in the journalistic field. We seek to cultivate sources, and much of that involves socializing. So you go to the various events, and you meet with your sources, and invariably it involves having a drink, and one drink leads to two, and before you know it, you're at 6, and therefore you have this, you have this belly developing. Again, it's not something that we encourage, but there's that saying. So I think many of my former media colleagues who, are hearing me address this event would start with a bit of introspection And the theme of this event would resonate a lot with many in the media fraternity in terms of moderation. I want to indicate that it's in this context that I want to commend Red Stripe, and I'm honored to be part of this series number 5, Townhall series number 5. And I take note and endorse the theme, responsibility now, and the whole banner of low, slow, no, a very powerful and germane theme in terms of navigating our social space and our various professional endeavors. The objective of, in case someone just came in, I want to reinforce that the objective of emphasizing mindful drinking choices via media advocacy is a laudable goal. And I wish to commend Heineken and the iconic Red Stripe family for displaying the corporate conscience necessary to put together an initiative such as this. This series is particularly noble, Duff, and I say that because, for centuries I'd endeavor to say, we've lived in the West in a capitalist society, and the objective of corporate entities naturally is to make profit. However, it is good that big corporate is displaying the corporate conscience to build awareness around an important matter, showing that it's not just about the almighty dollar. I want to commend Heineken, and in particular, Red Stripe, for daring to care about the well-being of its consumers, including Jamaicans. So, as Red Stripe's managing director articulated not too long ago, Low highlights the need for moderate drinkers to be aware of how strong the content is. Slow stresses that binge drinking is not to be encouraged, that there is no place for it. And No urges people to drink slowly and in moderation. No reinforces that alcohol is only for adults. It prohibits underage drinking and driving, and consuming while pregnant. Before I came here, I had a conversation with the Portfolio Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, because I wanted to inform myself of where the administration is at concerning the alcohol policy. And I was told that it's a work in progress. A document is being prepared, but it is subject to extensive and wide-ranging consultation involving companies such as Red Stripe and other stakeholders. So there's a process underway. The work is taking place. However, it is subject to extensive consultation because this administration believes in wide stakeholder engagement before we come to a position. Because naturally, when we pass laws or draft policy which might influence laws, our objective is to ensure that it enumerates the benefit of all of society, including our corporate stakeholders. And of course, that process might involve a green paper, then a white paper, and a law. But importantly, and I reiterate it, not without extensive consultation. So I expect that that process will continue. Now, our audience might be aware of extensive publications concerning the impact of alcohol consumption on society. And I'm aware that indiscipline on the nation's streets is a problem in Jamaican society. But I was doing some checks, and I was particularly, I wasn't surprised, but I took note of the fact that the majority of road crashes in Jamaica is not really due to alcohol consumption, as some people might want others to believe, but it's due to other factors driven by indiscipline on the nation's streets. So often I know that alcohol consumption is used as a scapegoat to excuse indiscipline on the nation's streets. However, the fact of the matter is that sometimes there are incidents on the streets, accidents, crashes, that are influenced by less than moderate consumption of alcohol. I think the media has an important part to play in sensitizing the public to the theme being promoted by an iconic company such as Red Stripe: low, slow, no. And with that increased sensitization, which I hope will come, I believe we will see a reduction as well in terms of indiscipline influenced by less than moderate consumption of alcohol. I think the media has been playing a part, but I'm of the view that a greater role can be played by our media practitioners in spreading the message that, look, alcohol will forever be part of society. Yes? And it is very necessary to the operation of many industries in Jamaica, for example, the entertainment industry. But I think the message is, like all good things in life, moderation is key. In terms of what the administration is doing, I believe under the new Road Traffic Act, people who have more than 35 micrograms of alcohol in 100 milliliters of breath and a blood alcohol concentration of 80 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of blood will be judged to be over the legally allowed limit. Our Prime Minister not too long ago addressed the meeting of the National Road Safety Council, and he indicated that it's under consideration, that the administration is considering reducing that limit. So, though, as I indicated, that the majority of accidents on the nation's streets is not really caused, the data suggests that they are not caused by alcohol consumption. Yes, there is some which is prompted by such, and our Prime Minister and the leader of the executive arm of the Jamaican state has indicated publicly that it is under consideration having another look at the prescribed legally allowed limit. So that's a glimpse of where the administration is at concerning this matter. I wish to say the administration is not anti-alcohol. We're pro-choice, supportive of moderation, supportive of our corporate stakeholders, the entertainment industry. But most importantly, and this is where I'm going in terms of the part the media can play, we are strong on the fact that people must be made aware of the consequence of their choices. And in that context, I want to commend Red Stripe again for putting together a well-thought-out and important series such as this. So, more germane to the theme, the fact of the matter is that many studies have shown that exposure to media content that glorifies alcohol can lead to increased consumption among young people. The media's portrayal of alcohol use can also desensitize viewers to the negative content or negative consequences of an excess amount of alcohol intake. And this comes back to my point about awareness. And for example, in movies or TV shows, characters who use alcohol are often lauded, and the viewers, the younger viewers, impressionable minds, are not alerted to the negative consequence of excess alcohol use. So we're not here to condemn use of alcohol or alcohol intake or social drinking, but again, germane to the objective, the overarching theme of this series, moderation is very, very important. And I think media across various channels can use their platforms. I was about to say our, forgetting that I have left the space, that can use the platforms to highlight this very, very important message that, you know, we're not here to glamorize the excess consumption of alcohol. However, you know, too much of one thing, might create a problem. I know, many of us are from rural Jamaica, and our grandmothers would say that. So moderation is an important part of the message. When I left media approximately, I think it's about 4 years ago, and took up politics. Well, I did corporate consultancy first in politics when the people were upset and they couldn't understand, and they asked, why would you give up that sort of influence where the captains of industry, whether in the private sector, the government, the opposition, and other stakeholders would call your phone at, whenever it is, perhaps in the middle of the afternoon, to find out what is coming at 5 o'clock in order to shape the narrative or influence what is said. So I make that point to say that media has tremendous influence over the perception of what is considered cool, what is considered acceptable, what is considered responsible. Another point I wish to make in terms of how the media perhaps could play a greater part in conjunction with our corporate partners is that my duty as the main man at Nationwide News Network back then was to carry in the top 5 main news items. If I wrote a story that the Jamaican economy, for argument's sake, and this is for argument's sake because we haven't grown by that much in a while, grew by 25%, there would not be much interest in it. If I wrote a story regarding one of our main political figures, not much interest. However, if I wrote that a mosquito bit a dancehall artist who perhaps is incarcerated, that's where you'd get a lot of traction. People will be very interested. And when you study the online data, you would see that's what generates the most interest. Our sporting figures and the captains of the entertainment industry. So I think there's an opportunity for partnership with members of our entertainment fraternity to spread the message. Yeah, sure, some of them, they are into the business of the flaunting the Hennessy, the Moet, or they're drinking tons of red stripe beer, and that's all well and good. But I believe we could have partnership and engagement with these captains of the entertainment industry towards communicating a more responsible message to members of the population, and these folks have tremendous influence over the young people in Jamaica. Indeed, as I said, they are the captains of popular culture, and I believe if they are engaged by the media, given a platform or a greater platform, and that is supported by our corporate stakeholders, that could go a far way in assisting in communicating the message that moderation is key in terms of alcohol consumption. Indeed, there's concern that the way various personalities are portrayed in the social media space, that it contributes to the normalization of alcohol use. I believe we live in the generation where social media is king, and again, the effort to bring greater moderation to the use of alcohol intake would have to involve social media engagement. And even in traditional media now, there is, I think it's an actuality that social media, to a greater degree, is driving content on traditional media. It's almost like a primary source where, the journalists would look to social media to generate content. And if a story is not posted via the traditional media's social media platform, then it is not likely to get views and traction. I believe greater social media engagement via a joined-up approach involving the corporate stakeholders, media, and the captains of industry, including government, could go a far way towards reducing alcohol consumption that is inappropriate or considered to be in excess. So I'd encourage the local media to continue its partnership with the private sector to inform and build awareness that we're not anti-alcohol. It is known the world over that there's nothing that tastes better than a good, nice, cold red stripe beer, soothing to many souls. But again, like all good tasting things in life, moderation is important and is good. Awareness and moderation are two key words today, and I believe there's space as well for the media to engage and stakeholders, including the corporate companies, to engage via civic groups, youth organizations, and parent associations to get the message out concerning responsible consumption of alcohol. As I close, I want to highlight again how good an initiative it is that Red Stripe has moved to not just care about profit, and you've been doing it for a while, but sensitizing our population about the importance of taking care of themselves during the process of imbibing and having some fun. I want to close as well by reiterating my commendation to Red Stripe for its Responsible Now Townhall series dubbed Low, Slow, No. It is fantastic that one of our preeminent corporate giants, the iconic Red Stripe group of companies, is not merely giving lip service to messages of awareness and moderation in consumption, but is willing to display conviction, indeed, by putting tremendous effort into organizing an event as well put together as this. Thank you for the invitation. Thanks for the opportunity. Yep.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so very much for the very kind compliment at the beginning of your speech. Certainly, we will have a conversation, Diane and team, that when next you invite Senator Fitzhenley, we will ensure that we do not use an acrylic lectern, but rather a wooden one to provide him coverage. I think when I listen to your speech and I listen to everyone who's been here and I look at the persons in the room, the only thing I can say is that we have the best of the stakeholders here. Governments, through good governance and good policy, through enforcement, can transform societies and culture. When we look at the private sector, it is through aligned partnerships, because they have to be going in the same direction. They have the ability to transform societies and culture. And then when we look at our media and our spaces, traditional, new, our influencers, there is influence to transform societies and culture. The only thing that I will say, just to add my 2 cents, is that whenever we approach the captains and the titans of industries and sectors, that we also try to ensure that they are practitioners, that they are going to be the persons who don't just preach, but that they also practice. Because what you don't want is incongruence, and you don't want people saying, it is just for show. So everything has to be aligned. Thank you so very much, Senator Fitzhenley, for giving us not just the balance as a former media practitioner, but also someone who is in governance and policy making. Thank you so very much. Another round of applause for our keynote. So that being said, we've spoken about the role and the importance and the influence and the reach of our media, but now we want to get into the conversation. So we're going to move right into our panel discussion. But first, a quick reminder from the Drink and Live Responsibly campaign.
As you go about your everyday life, take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live responsibly.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe
As you go about your everyday life, take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live responsibly.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe it, but you don't understand that you're superstition ain't the way.
As you go about your everyday life, take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live responsibly.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe it, but you don't understand that you're superstition ain't the way. Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe it, but you don't understand that you're superstition ain't the way.
As you go about your everyday life, take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live responsibly.
Thank you so very much for sticking and staying with us. Our panelists are ready. We are getting ready to start this amazing conversation that I know we're going to have. But before we do, I'd like to invite Dacre Mitchell, Communications Manager at Red Stripe, to offer a vote of thanks to our guest speaker.
Thank you very much, Terry, and good morning again to everybody. All protocols observed. Mine is a great pleasure and the honor to move this vote of thanks. On behalf of the management and staff of Red Stripe, let me express sincerest gratitude to all who have helped to make this event a success. To our guest speaker, Senator the Honorable Abka Fitz-Henley, thank you for delivering such a powerful and insightful keynote address, which shows the importance of the topic and the need for collaborative action between government and media in communicating responsible consumption. This token is a testament of our appreciation for you, and we trust that you will continue to inspire others. We appreciate you, and we would like to express that appreciation with this special token. Please come to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Deca. Now, just to remind Senator Fitz-Henley, he spoke about the culture of moderation and that, you know, he has a belly because of the occasional drinking that he has done. Therefore, if he does not wish to keep that token for whatever reason, it naturally by default goes to the host. Thank you so very much. If you're just joining us, I am your moderator, Terry Carell. It's a pleasure to have you. The title of this town hall meeting, Responsibility Now, Low, Slow, No. The role of media in communicating responsible consumption. And if you're wondering where we are, we're coming to you live from Red Stripe in Kingston, Jamaica. We welcome the persons who are in the room as well as those of you online. We're about to begin our panel discussion. If you have any questions at all, please go ahead. Let us know, and we will get to those questions at the end. We'll try to get to as many of them as possible. So happy to have you. Thank you for your patience. I know we have very busy people who are a part of our panel discussion. Again, if you're just joining us, allow me to reintroduce our esteemed panelists. Claire Grant, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Broadcast Service and Content, RJR Gleaner Communications Group. Tishan Lee, CEO and Chief Creative at Engine Room Brand House. Andrew Brown, Head of Marketing at CVM Television, Carlisle Grant, Managing Director of Digital Danes, and Rick Darby, President of the Students' Union for the University of Technology, Jamaica. Welcome to you all, and we're going to jump right into the discussion. Before we do, we always give the panelists an opportunity because our viewers basically hear your name and your title, and sometimes they have absolutely no idea what that really is. So I'm going to give each of you an opportunity just to give us an idea of what your role is in the media space, starting with Claire.
Good morning, everyone.
And that's Dr. Grant.
Dr. Claire. I'm the Deputy Chief Executive Officer for the RJR Gleaner Communications Group. Specifically, that speaks to all of our radio brands, of which we have 5, 4 terrestrial, 1 online, and all of our television brands, which we have also 5. 1 that is free-to-air, 3 cable, and 1 that's an export brand, actually, Television Jamaica International, which is outside of Jamaica. And then we also have the umbrella brand for all of our broadcast entities, which is One Spot Media.
You manage a whole heap of things. In other words, she manages a whole heap of things, locally, regionally, as well as internationally. Thank you so very much, Dr. Grant. Andrew. Hi. Hello. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. I know recently I saw you looking very sharp. You stepped on a stage and collected an award.
That's half the work.
For marketing. That's half the work. Give us an idea of what it is. What's your role in this media space?
So thank you guys for having me. My name is Andrew Brown, Head of Marketing for Jamaica's Choice Free-to-Air television station, CVM TV.
Oh, no, he didn't. Right?
Yes, yes. My role there would be leading the marketing team there at CVM, doing strategic initiatives that will definitely push and promote all of our content, all of our programming to as many of the Jamaican people as possible. We've recently rebranded last year, so you'd have seen the See It Happen campaign. We're a brand new CVM, brand new vibe, brand new energy. Our shows are performing, and yeah, that's what we do.
All right, thank you for being here. Tishan, I knew you when you were a part of corporate. Now you are you founder, you are in charge of Engine Room. Tell us about that.
Thank you, Terry. Yes, so we knew each other from a former life on the corporate side. So I've really been representing brands for my entire career. And so that's a big part of my role in the media space. On one side as the brand, and now that I founded Engine Room, which is a full-service marketing and research firm. We represent some of the best brands in Jamaica and some in the region. And so our role here is really, how do we support the needs of responsible drinking, the needs of responsible any advertising in general. That's a perspective that I'll bring to the conversation.
All right, fantastic. Carlisle, good to have you. And congratulations. I see you going into schools, teaching students the importance of upskilling and getting skills. But what is it that you do for persons who do not know you personally?
All right. Thank you, Sari. So I'm a multidisciplinary marketer, and I'm the managing director of Digital Danes. So we're predominantly a creative agency where our goal is to help brands thrive in this age of digital transformation through content creation and digital marketing. I've been in marketing for 12 plus years now, and I hope to contribute to this conversation with some unique perspectives on how responsible drinking and this whole campaign can aid in the media and digital space.
All right, thank you so very much. Last but not least, Sir Rick Darby, tell me about your role in all of this.
Thank you for having me. So my name is Rick Darby. I'm the president of the UTEC Students Union. So my role in this is, UTEC is Jamaica's national university. And as a national university, we have to ensure that we play our part in ensuring that there's responsible consumption, etc. And we communicate on national topics such as this. So we have to ensure that we're engaged and we're informed and we're all there.
All right. Thank you so very much. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting conversation. Let me start with my very first question, and I'm going to start with Dr. Grant, representing traditional media, and for many people, one of the go-to. What are the guidelines from a broadcast licensing standpoint? Is it on marketing alcohol on free-to-air media? You have to consider children, families, religion, culture. Is there any particular guideline from a broadcasting standpoint?
Well, yes, definitely. Would want to correct, though, because the term traditional media is somewhat of a misnomer. So our group participates in all platforms. As a matter of fact, the RJR Gleaner Group, as an entity, has the largest number of followers in the social media space across all properties that exist. So I think that's a very important point. We like to think that this is an entity that is only operating in one space, but we're operating in all the spaces and provide a 360 kind of touch point for anybody who works with us. So that I'd first say. But on the broadcast side, broadcast part of media has regulations. You have to have a license to have a radio station. You have to have a license to have a television station. Free to air, you have to have a license to have a subscriber television station. And under the Broadcast Regulations Act, I think it is 81A, it gives very specific detail as to how you are supposed to run any kind of advertising around alcohol. You cannot show the consumption of it. So you will notice, well, people probably don't actually notice, that in an ad, you might see the drink poured into the glass, but you don't see the action of pouring in the glass, sticking it up and drinking it. That is not allowed. And this is an act that is there for decades, where at that time, much as what we're doing now, the understanding was, as broadcast entities, how do we responsibly deal with the society's inclination to want to do what they see on television? And as a result of that, you're not allowed to show somebody consuming alcohol. That regulation actually applies to the advertising specifically, but in our group, Television Jamaica, if we're doing Smile or any live program, we adhere to that as well. So if you see something on Smile, especially like when you go around to Christmas and they're doing stuff with alcohol, you will not see any of the hosts actually drink the beverage.
And that is something that in regulation implies a certain amount of responsibility for how we allow the alcohol company to communicate people purchasing their product.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because when you started to explain and you said, well, chances are if you realize a lot of the times, even as viewers, we do not know what we are in the presence of. And it is nice to know that there are considerations happening behind the scene that basically protects us even when we are not aware of it. Let me ask you, Andrew, how do you manage considering marketing and alluding to even what Dr. Grant just said in terms of media having many touch points, especially because viewers consume content in different manners. How do you manage content around responsible drinking during live coverage of events where alcohol is being consumed? And I know you're marketing, but maybe you may have some idea in terms of how that happens.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the showcasing of the entertainment industry, everybody knows the entertainment industry makes a big push to show that the excitement comes from the consumption of alcohol. Obviously, we know as adults that the moderation is really what's important, and that's the message that needs to be not just pushed, but showcased in how we create original content, in how we promote events themselves, etc. So I think it's a great initiative that we've already started to do where our content shows the drinking responsibly sign, and we know that when we partner with such esteemed companies like Red Stripe, that they ensure that we adhere to making sure that drinking responsibly is a big message that we push out when we do more event coverage. Now, granted, it's touch and go, right? Because as Senator would have mentioned, when we show behavior online that is very exciting and it may be portrayed as a result of alcohol, that content tends to perform better. And we have to know that, hey, even though we know that that content will perform better, we can't highlight that, we can't glorify that, we can't showcase that in a way that says we encourage it. So being mindful of that, our team has always been mindful of ensuring that alcohol consumption at events and during our event coverage is not glorified and is limited to a smile, holding up the glass, a toast, but not necessarily aggressive consumption.
All right, I appreciate that. And I mean, we will always be open to our own interpretation, yes? Yeah. But I've gone to events where I have done a toast or I've cheered, but I don't necessarily drink, but I will do it just out of the gesture of what is going on. So it is left to a person's interpretation, but no one can say definitively that they saw that kind of encouragement. Tishan, I'm coming over to you because you spoke about representing clients, locally as well as regionally, and I know a lot of the times when it comes to campaigns and proposals and pitching them with the right or proposing the right people to work with, who do you think has greater responsibility for communicating responsible campaigns or consumption? Easy question.
It is a tough one. So, great question.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of our responsibility. You have to carry that responsibility as the agency, as the marketer, as the brand that's responsible. It cannot be that you do not have a social conscience in advertising. The viewing public is up against a lot. So for hundreds of years, maybe thousands, the consumption of alcohol, it just has become a cultural thing. You don't even think about it. I would dare say that many of us as children would have put apple juice or grape juice in a champagne flute or a wine glass and pretended, because it's so cool, because grown-ups are doing it. It's aspirational. If you get a promotion, congrats, Terry, let me buy you a drink. You toast at a wedding, you clink the glass to indicate that you want them to kiss. There's so much positive association with alcohol, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then the moderation comes into play. And knowing that as much as you create this content to make it responsible, it is almost impossible, if not impossible, to keep it away from some of the people who should not be consuming that content. We have to look at how responsibly we are portraying that. So should it just be that 0.5 seconds sped up adults 18 and older at the end of a radio commercial? Is that enough? does it feel like we just feel obligated to say this, or does it feel like we mean it when we treat it that way? When it's the smallest line item on an ad, or or just in the caption, is that saying as a brand that this is very important to me, or is it saying that I'm checking a box? I think we have to get a little bit more introspective. There's a lot of fantastic work that's happening. Example, we are here. This is not typical. I'm really proud to be associated with a brand that would host us in this way and have this important conversation. So I think the dialogue is more around now. Okay, so we've been doing great and we've started this. Is there more? Are we doing enough?
Thank you for that. Carlisle, as a digital marketing agency, primarily, like that is it, how can agencies, and you can even tell me, how do you influence trends around responsible behavior? Or have you seen any examples where you can say, well, this is something that we have seen?
Well, I think it starts from even in the agency, in the company. You hearing me now?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I think it starts from even in-house, from a team perspective, even with team members, you'll have, get-togethers, drink-ups, things like that. But I can speak for my agency. We promote a lot of responsible drinking. We keep people accountable in the team when we realize that, hey, you're having a bit too much here. You want to kind of slow down. Take your time, we're all here to have fun. And I think that's a thing that other entities should employ as well.
I actually like what you just said, in the sense that it's not just about proposing or pitching or aligning with particular companies, but ensuring that it becomes a culture and a lifestyle. So you start from home, which I think is actually a very beautiful point. Rick, you are representing, for the most part, young adults, yeah? I hear about the parties that you guys have. There are ambassadors for different things. There are promoters that take place. In fact, it's a great ground where a lot of entities feed off of. I mean, you guys are the young adults. In your opinion, based on social media, based on how social media is used, and even influencers that are used for certain campaigns, what do you think brands need to consider more when it comes to marketing to your age group, your peers, your colleagues at UTEC and other universities?
I think what they need to consider more is having us relate more to the content. So for example, we know that Get Ready With Me is a real trend that's going on. So in terms of getting ready, so we promote things like eating before you go to the party, before you start drinking, drinking water in between while you're drinking, so we have responsible consumption. Because it's very important that we have the necessary steps in place and we're practicing what we're preaching. We don't just have it on the flyer. Because, for example, in our events, what we usually have is our health and safety team. They're equipped with water, so they go around and issue water throughout the party. Yes, it does cut back on our profit, but it also ensures that there's responsible consumption during our events. We also have the DJs keep on emphasizing throughout the event. Ensure to support the jerkman, get something to eat, get some water, etc. Drink responsibly. So it's something that they need to consider in terms of with the trends, to hop on onto these trends and ensure that young people can relate to the content that's being put out there, and bringing persons that they really respect into the conversation so that they can say, okay, I can relate to XYZ, this is something that I can practice. They're practicing what they're preaching, so this is something that I can relate to and I can adopt.
I actually appreciate that. And you want me to tell you why? I don't go out anymore because I found that I ended up being in spaces that I wanted to be in, but then I'd go to the bar and they wouldn't have anything that was non-alcoholic, like zero options for me. And I just realized that and it may persist even now, I don't even know, but it's just good to know that there are options, and not just options, but people who are intentionally and actively ensuring. Maybe I need to go to some UTEC parties. We will talk afterwards then. Clearly, I'll be the oldest person there, but I think we need to have that conversation. Dr. Grant, the question I have, and we heard the managing director speak about it, and we heard us make allusion to the fact that, it's profit, but it's also people. We're here to run viable businesses. We're here to meet the needs and the objectives of our clients, our advertisers, but then we also have this social responsibility. You get this commercial ad that is paid for by an alcoholic company? And it doesn't necessarily have to be local, but just with your hat on. You know, do you look for red flags? Are there red flags that the team is trained to look out for? And how do you now balance the viable business versus pushing back and saying, hey, we want to help you out, but you have to help us out? Walk us through what that looks like from the role of media.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't know this. All content, except content that is live, any content that is pre-recorded, which commercial will be one of that, is vetted before it goes on air. Every single second, as a previous general manager would say, every nanosecond of content that comes on is looked at by a team, and it's looked at in real time. It's not like you're scanning through, let me see. We have rejected ads. First of all, the regulation is not a suggestion. We have a regulator. If you have an ad that is in breach of that particular regulation, which is what I spoke about first in terms of seeing somebody drinking, you will be held accountable. So those are specific things, as is stated by the regulator, that you look for. But outside of that, the company will also have its own concerns about taste and other types of suggestions that are not necessarily in the regulations, but we have a concern about it, and we will call the agency and the advertiser and say, hey, we have a problem with this. We don't think that this is something that we will air. We have rejected ads in the past, not recently that I'm aware of, because I think there is a more important point. The senator is not here now, but he did allude to a couple of things that we need to be aware of. There is review of the regulation as it relates to alcoholic beverage advertising, and there's another section in terms of fast food. So this has been a big topic now for nearly well over 10 years. There is concern as to whether or not there needs to be more stringent types of rules around what can happen with alcoholic beverage advertising. Therefore, my position has always been that the industry, and by industry here, media is not the media house, but all the partners that make the media house work, which includes the advertisers. Self-regulation is the best regulation. You do not want a situation where someone is coming in and saying, well, you can't advertise at a particular time, which is where part of the conversation wants to go, because of how dangerous that is going to be to the advertiser, who now doesn't have the ability to get in front of so many people.
Audience.
And that's going to affect sales. We know that. And then obviously it is damaging for the media house as well, because part of how we get big ticket events, Red Stripe, happy to be on board with the Olympics this year. Thanks again. But it would mean that if you had a regulation that said you can't advertise in particular times, they probably would not be able to come on board, or if you come on board, they can't message, which really don't make any sense. So self-regulation is something that we must work together as the industry. If we see something in a commercial that we think is going to be problematic, we do call and say, hey, this probably might not be something that you'd want to do. I would say in the main, for the major alcoholic brands in Jamaica, you tend not to have that now. You tend to have probably more concern about things that has sexual innuendo. And even so, I would say I've noted that corporate Red Stripe in particular, tends not to go down that road. It's a lot more clean cut in terms of the engagement and kind of like a happy feel. But yes, to your question, if we see a commercial that is problematic, either in terms of regulation or our policy standards internally, we reject it. And we will say specifically what the issue is, and generally we kind of get to a point where you create something that can be aired.
Thank you for that. We've seen where a lot more brands are partnering online, social media collaboration, if we're looking at Instagram, which means a lot. It means that this person has become an extension of the brands. We also heard Senator Fitzhenley speak about using people who are captains and titans of certain industries because they're more relatable, maybe their lifestyle is more appealing. What are the pros and the cons? And I'm going to ask Andrew and I'm going to ask Carlisle. What are the pros and the cons when we consider influencer marketing as a part of brand awareness and campaign, especially when it comes to responsible drinking? Andrew, I'll start with you, Carlisle, and then of course I will come to Rick and Tishan afterwards.
I think that the term media, obviously with the advent of social media and digital marketing, it has grown so much to now include content creators and influencers as part of the media fraternity. I think what happens is there's a struggle because you have content creators and influencers that have built their brands based off of doing what they like to do, doing things that matter to them, that they're passionate about. And sometimes that's not always it's not always a responsible theme, right? But these are the ones with, hundreds of thousands of followers, and so no better vehicle to get to the masses than that individual. No more efficient vehicle than that person that has this reach to get to the masses and the audience that you want to speak to. The problem is sometimes when we partner with influencers or when we see content creators working with different companies, it's a lot of bark, but not a lot of bite, right? So what we see happening is, they'll partner with you for some campaign, and it's a nice theme around being responsible in whatever regard. And then once that campaign is over, it's back to what got them in the forefront in the first place. So I think corporate actually has a responsibility to ensure that they're partnering with persons that are actually aligned with their values and their themes. As I think the message falls on deaf ears a little bit when we see the influencers and the content creators go back to doing content and creating content that's not aligned with the responsibility. It is contradictory.
So then, Carlisle, what do we say then? Because we know that sometimes the ones that might be aligned may not get you the millions of views and the viral clips and the viral videos. So then, what does that look like? What do you consider when it comes to the pros and cons of partnering with the right people to spread the right message?
What I would say to that is to not necessarily focus on a mass reach, but to focus on the different pockets of community that these influencers have a hold on. So if as Andrew said, sometimes there is malalignment with the influencer and the brand, but there are content creators, there are influencers out there that do have a voice, that their community is well engaged, that do listen to them. And if you can strike a long-term engagement or a long-term relationship with them, then that can foster good benefits to your message and to their message. But what I've noticed is that a lot of organizations or companies, when they partner with influencers and content creators, it's on a short-term basis, and then it's so easy for them to go back to old ways or to jump to the next opportunity. But I think if longer engagements are established, you would reap bigger benefits. Yes, it might cost in the long run, but I don't think there's any cost on responsible drinking.
All right, okay.
So one of the other things is it creates opportunity, right? Because usually when we're looking to partner with content creators and influencers, it's already who we see out in the space that's already doing something that may be attractive to the brand, and then we engage and we move forward. But what we're not doing is saying, okay, who aligns with our values that doesn't necessarily have a large audience? Who can we build? Who can we support to create that community of responsible drinking instead of reaching out to persons that we know may not necessarily be aligned, but because they have a broad reach or they target a specific community. And so I think there's an opportunity for brands to really focus on creating their own content creators and their own influencers to champion their own brand values.
I appreciate that. Tishan, you want to add to something? And then Tishan, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, again, everything is new and it's all the same. What happened yesterday is the same thing that's happening today and tomorrow, So we'd like to talk about influencers, but they were just called something else before. Look around the room. Dan can relate to it. Maybe you. So.
Call it all? I don't know. Okay, I'm just sorry. Go ahead.
So many years ago, this iconic brand that is here had a massive campaign around a particular, well, we would not call him an influencer at the time, right? He was just a singer, right? Ernest Smith did the campaign for this brand, Life is Just for Living. And it was huge. It was a global phenomenon, right? Great song, But what really worked for that campaign is that Ernest Smith just really slotted in harmless, brand-safe association with this iconic product. The question of brand safeness is something that corporates need to think about, and in particular, alcoholic brands must think about. You asked the question about influencers. It's a very dangerous space, right? It is not something to be played around with because it can destroy a brand. I think a lot of things that corporates must think about is, I know marketing is expensive, but there actually is a price for cheap. So if you go out looking for purchasing of engagement, which is essentially what you're trying to do when you try to find this influencer, that doesn't really resonate with correct brand building. So correct brand building, to Dane's point, is a long-term engagement, a long-term strategy where you build it around somebody that is properly aligned with your brand. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not just about how many people are going to see the post tomorrow, because it's really important. Seeing a post does not mean anything. What is important is, has this audience engaged enough to resonate and make a decision around whatever messaging you have on the brand. So we need to become a lot more clinical in how we are defining our strategies that are associated with people, because they carry the brand in their soul, and if they shift, they're carrying your brand with you. So I mean, I think it's really very important. I'd like to make the point that influencer was around before. It was just called a different name. I will admit that the influencer of today is very special because they are generating and creating content that makes them a lot more potent, but that potency can be either very negative or positive.
I saw Tishan. I see you, Tishan, and the reason why I'm going to allow you to chime in here, and then I'm coming to you, Rick, is because I know even when you call me and you say, I have a client, this is what they're trying to accomplish, and I've considered you because I know you are extremely blah, 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 very particular, da, 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 da. I see you shaking your head because you have to do this a lot with your clients. What are other considerations or agreements based on what has been said that you yourself have to deal with on a day-to-day basis to ensure your brand is aligning with the right clients who are aligning with the right collaborators / partners / influencers?
Thanks, Terry. So I agree with everything that has been said. I think some really important points have been made. Advertising works. That's why we have the budget. You know, we have to just remember that advertising works. And so in terms of selecting the influencers, you have to take a step back sometimes. We have this conversation with our clients all the time is, who are you? Brand is not seasonal. You have to know who you are and what you stand for, and that has to resonate throughout your works. So understand, sometimes, you know, it's a major reflection. Sometimes it pauses the whole campaign planning, and we're going to have a board meeting and we're going to talk about this, because a lot of the time, because we're selling, we sell what's hot now, not recognizing how you're making your brand somewhat schizophrenic because you're moving with trends. So that for us is always a litmus test, a beacon, a North Star to say, okay, so who are we? Because that can eliminate going with one influencer over another immediately, you know. And I really love the point that Andrew and Carlisle made about growing with influencers, building your own tribe of influencers. There's so much positive ripple effect from looking at somebody who has the bones and the affinity that reflect yours as a brand, and then putting in the work and investing in them, and that positive message that it sends to others to say, you know, everybody is somebody and we can grow together. Brands don't only have to look at those that have the larger followings, because if you do the right analytics, sometimes you recognize that they are not as influential as they seem. Some of the really small, the micro influencers, if you look at their engagement, when they say something, people go to the store, versus somebody with 300,000, after they say something, you don't see 300,000 units sold. They're not reaching everybody. So understanding the algorithm is a big part of it as well, in terms of an agency or a role with the clients, understanding that even when we post this influencer or they post, not every one of their followers see it. It's lucky if it's 10%.
Correct.
So it's us making sure that we're understanding the space, making sure that we're understanding our clients and their brands. As you said, aligning with clients that are aligned with us, so it's an authentic partnership, and just moving together towards positive brand work.
Lovely. Rick, I want to ask you, do you think that persons underestimate your age group? In the sense that we're talking about alcohol, moderation, being responsible in consumption. And in many people's eyes, there's this idea or there's this view that, university students are just all, is it that, and I want you to kind of give us an idea in terms of the students who you see, who you represent, even when it comes to alcohol consumption, because I think not a lot of persons realize that there are many sides to university students. And are we targeting, and are we reaching out, and are we touching points with all the kinds of students that we need to?
That's a very good question, actually, and I do think, yes, we do underestimate them, because we just think that university is a space, we hear about all this excitement and whatever, but a lot of learning and cultivating happens throughout our university life. We're exposed to different things, so it shapes our personality and who we become after we leave university. So I think much emphasis should be placed on it, and there are a lot of university students who have great ideas and they come up with some great things. They're even thinking about things that we never thought about. Recently, when Jada, the 14-year-old, came to UTEC, we had to start rethinking our entertainment, because we were saying, okay, there's a 14-year-old on campus, so how do we regularize the entries to parties, etc.? So we had to start thinking outside of the box. This is something new to us. We're not used to that, so we have to adapt. We can't have underage persons drinking. Yes, you're coming to university and you need to enjoy life, your campus life, but there are other areas to enjoy campus life other than just partying and drinking alcohol. And that's something that I think we really need to take a look at. And in terms of how we're reaching youth, I think we have to take a deeper look at that and have some more conversation with youth, because, trust me, there are some great ideas coming in from around university spaces. It's all about getting the exposure, getting the engagement, and just rethinking how can we relate to them. Because content comes in different, various forms. So it's all about how can I relate to this and how can I apply it to my life.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And big up Jada. We met her, I think, a year or two before she got to UTEC, and we knew that she was destined for greatness. Dr. Grant, everybody has been saying it, chicken or the egg, does culture shape media, does media shape culture, one of the questions here that we got online is, how can the media shift cultural norms around alcohol consumption to favor more responsible drinking habits? And even though I point this out to Dr. Grant, of course, anyone can answer. But how can the media shift cultural norms? And that's a heavy question, because that's heavy responsibility. And the question is, should the media even burden that responsibility? But I'll let you answer the question.
Well, there is, I think Andrew alluded to it, the challenge that we have because of how whoever came up with the name social media is really the problem. Because, first of all, it's not social, it's quite antisocial. And it's just a platform. It is not media as we understood it before, but, the marketing has happened and we're stuck with it. And so that's very important. When we say, can media help? And we think that it means television, radio, and then this thing they call social media and this thing they call internet. It don't really work like that. So back in the day when I was studying journalism, there was a book called Power Without Responsibility, right? So one of the key purposes of media in its traditional form, as we like to say, is that it's not just out there with a microphone talking to a lot of people and everybody can hear so they respond. No. Even in an unregulated sector such as print, there is an appreciation that you have a responsibility to the society in terms of what you do. Hence the term, the fourth estate. You are that check and balance for church and government and everybody that is there, the judiciary, to say, here are the things that are happening, right? So with the evolution of time, our appreciation of what is media has changed. And there are some parts of it that if you're calling on that part to help this problem, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. However, within the context of media where you have trusted brands, because again, it's all a part of the same industry that we're in. Media brands that are trusted, media brands that are respected in the space, influencers that are trusted, influencers that are respected, yourself, have that kind of opportunity to impact this kind of messaging, right? We have a number of very strong entertainment products on our platform. Red Stripe is actually a sponsor of ER, Entertainment Report, and very, very deliberate and specific about how we manage our reporting around this issue. There's a lot of time that is given to this issue that is appreciating that it's a part of a conversation that we need to continue to have. I don't know how, and I don't know if Red Stripe is measuring. It's not, this Drink Responsible campaign is not a today campaign. It's been going on for a long time. And I watch my son, who would have been very young when this campaign started, now at an age where he's going out, and he talks about the fact that he's not drinking, so he's going to be the one that's driving. I believe this is a campaign that has had a massive impact. It is changing behavior. It is changing how people are, but it's not something that has an end date. We will have to constantly be reinforcing it, talking about it, because there is always a new generation of people that come up and need to understand the dangers of binge drinking, the dangers of drinking and driving, the dangers of giving alcohol to somebody who's pregnant. And I say that importantly because oftentimes the pregnant person is more impacted by people who give them the drink than them just taking it up for themselves. The other thing that I think I want to bring on board here as we talk about impact, my friend here from UTEC, and we'll add in UA and the other universities, who are really a very, very, very small percentage of that age group. And what constantly bothers me about these campaigns is that there is a much larger group of people between the age of 18 to 30, that segment, that we're not talking to them, right? And we have to give some thought to that, because to the extent that they feel excluded, and feeling excluded is not necessarily deliberate, they're just excluded, they're not here. You know, are not reaching a group of people that are probably more inclined to make the wrong decisions and to not understand this campaign. I think we have to be very deliberate about that, and if there is a way that we're able to partner around that specific group of people, I mean, we have to do it together.
I appreciate that. Now, because of the time constraint, what I'm going to ask is, for each person, I'm going to move down from Andrew, I'm going to stop at Rick. As persons are tuning in online and in person, looking at the roles that media has to do with just consumption, what would you like your last words to be, whether it is something you want to reinforce or something that you think we need to start doing?
I think that, I mean, we all have heard it before, right? With great power comes great
responsibility.
There we go. And as a result, media plays a big part of that responsibility, because we have so much power to showcase, one, the truth, and with that truth being shown, people may tend to think that it's normal. And so I think media has a responsibility to show both sides of the same coin. We should be the ones to show this is what happens when you don't drink in moderation. This is what happens when you do drink in moderation. And I feel like we don't show enough of this is what happens when you do drink in moderation. I think people don't have a concept, or especially for the younger audience, they think that in order to have a good time, it means you have to drink. You must drink to have a good time. Where I have myself, I don't drink as much, and my friends all drink in moderation. and we still have a good time. We still enjoy life. Life is for living, and we're still living it, despite the one drink that we had for the night. And I think it's media's responsibility to showcase the truth. And the truth is, alcohol is good in moderation, and you can have a good time without it. So,
invite me to your next friend gathering so I can enjoy myself as well.
Will do.
Tishan, anything to reinforce, anything to leave us with?
Yeah, just generally, media can't do it alone. So it's a heavy burden that's being placed on media and even the brands, because if you reflect on the advertising, we can't say it, whether it's because of the guardrails that are put up that Claire discussed or the social conscience of the brand. We're not seeing these overt and extravagant ads and binging and all of that. It's actually just really modest recreational advertising that I have seen. Notwithstanding, it's going to get in front of some of the wrong people, and it doesn't come with, and it's also being partnered with TV. You know, so we're talking about advertising now, but you know, there's nothing to regulate what's on your favorite show or what you go to watch at the movies. And they have a particular message that has no guardrails and is assumed that you're going to only the people who are rated adults 18 and over, and that's not the only people who are consuming it. So there's all of this happening, and you have to just look at the 360 of it, and just, if you know better, do better, and don't stay in your own lane, like fast with people. So if you see the wrong thing happening, say something. There's an appropriate way to say something, because especially if it's not someone that's very familiar to you. But that village life that we used to have back in the day, if we could bring that back, you know, we'd be in a better place.
Lovely. Carlisle, and then Rick, you have the final word.
All right, so quickly.
Carlisle.
All right, so quickly, I'll just add that with the advent of influencers, content creators, social media, I think the barrier to entry for influences has been very low. You know, people get up and they start to put themselves as point of influence, swaying persons' decision making. And I see opportunity there in the sense that entities like Red Stripe, corporate, can try to make responsible drinking and messages of that nature become traditional. So I take from everyone's point of, you know, the old days, you know, you pass down certain things onto, so you keep initiatives like these going, you keep these, this has to be part of your DNA, that, hey, yes, bottom line, yes, we're trying to sell products and we're pushing these messages, but we can never forget this 10 years, 20 years on. It has to be part of it so that they never forget. And also, I see opportunities for training, or I don't know if training is the right word, but opportunity to impart on these influencers and content creators that they also have a responsibility to play. So they, if you're matriculating into a space of influence in the social media space or the digital space overall, there needs to be something for them to speak to reminding them about their responsibility and how they conduct themselves and their decorum. I don't know if it's training, I don't know what it is, or if you have a long-standing relationship with a particular person, then part of that relationship is also edifying them and training them. So those are the things I'd like to say.
I appreciate that. And it's training, it's mentorship, it's having advisors, it's having people who are accountability partners as well.
And it's a domino effect. They pay it forward and keep it going and going and going, and you'll see a transformation of youth being more attuned to responsible drinking.
I appreciate that. Rick, you have the final say, sir.
Yes, I'd like to say I agree with what has been said so far, and I think a very important thing that you just touched on is that we need to mentor these persons. It's not about what you say, but how you say it. Because these influencers, it can be said to them that, hey, this is the type of living that we're trying to encourage. And it is something that they will consider. It's just who is saying it to them and how it's said to them, because they don't want to come off as that you trying to be controlling of the industry, etc., or saying you're gatekeeping, but rather just to promote healthy lifestyle and responsible living. So I think that's an avenue that we can explore, also having more informal settings, because really and truly the persons who are participating in unresponsible drinking, they are not gathered in these forums. And it was said on the last series that I watched, those aren't the persons that are here. The persons that we need to go into the bars, we need to go into the communities and engage these persons, as well as even come into the university spaces. Training these persons on responsible living, responsible drinking is very important that we adhere to that and we practice what we preach. We don't just have it as at the bottom of the flyer, 18 or older must to drink. We have to enforce it, and there must be some tighter measures put in place in terms of adhering to the regulations so persons are aware of what is happening and what we are about.
What are you pursuing?
Well, I recently did my degree in electrical and computer engineering, and I'm currently doing a master's now in MBA right now.
My God, quite impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together for our panelists representing different agencies, different groups, different entities, different, just everything. It's a lovely cross-section of persons, but we're getting the opportunity to hear what other people think about the space. And again, what I am hearing from everyone is that we all have a responsibility, yes, for ourselves, but we have a responsibility to other people. So we're almost out of time, and I need a few minutes to make a major announcement. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back. So this is just a quick reminder from the Drink and Live Responsibly campaign.
As you go about your everyday life, take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live responsibly.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe it, but you don't understand that superstition ain't the way.
As you go about your everyday life, take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live responsibly.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe it, but you don't understand that superstition ain't the way.
As you go about your everyday life, Take good care of yourself. Remember to balance things. Celebrate with your favorite beverages. And enjoy a healthy, balanced meal as well. So eat right and drink responsibly. They go great together. Cheers to the best in life. Must be 18 years or older. Drink and live.
Cheers to the best in life. Can I have another round of applause for our amazing panelists? It's been a great town hall. And so now I invite Diane Ashton-Smith, Head of Corporate Affairs, to make the announcement before she hands over the dress that she has on. Please make her welcome.
I actually feel extremely honored that Terry would want to wear my dress. But thank you so much, Terry. Always an amazing host. Really appreciate. Always amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, I really am so absolutely proud to announce this partnership. So Red Stripe, as you all know, is about, creating moments of togetherness and ensuring the joy that comes with it. And our purpose is we brew the joy of true togetherness to inspire a better world. And that reflects our commitment to fostering connections, making every social gathering memorable, as today was. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. Even without alcohol. Wouldn't you agree? You need to respond, It's a yay, right? It's a yay. So imagine being at one of our events, music is filling the air, the excitement is palpable, and friends and strangers alike share in the joy of the occasion. So of course, it's Red Stripe, so drinks are flowing, there's laughter all around, and it's a night to remember. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we are dedicated to ensuring that your joy is accompanied by safety and well-being. And this brings us to the heart of our mission and the power of partnerships in making it a reality. We at Red Stripe do recognize that addressing alcohol misuse requires a comprehensive approach. We call it a whole-of-society approach. And this means that we need to identify key stakeholders, and we also need to form strategic alliances that really have the greatest amount of impact to maximize our impact. And with that in mind, we have some exciting news to share with you today. It is, of course, exemplifying our commitment to responsible consumption and community well-being. So first, it is my distinct pleasure to unveil our latest partnership under our Drink and Live Responsibly campaign. So I need a drum roll, please. Yes. So I'm delighted to announce that GK Foods and Services has joined forces with Red Stripe to champion moderation and a healthy lifestyle. Thank you. Our aim together as partners is to educate consumers about the risk associated with alcohol misuse and to encourage responsible decision-making. So in addition to our existing partners with transportation companies, of course emphasize the importance of never drinking and driving, and our collaborations with organizations like Rise Life Management Services, which highlight the dangers of and the reduction that we need for underage consumption. This partnership with GK Foods adds yet another layer to our Drink and Live Responsibly campaign. And as of today, we have a one-year memorandum of understanding with GK Foods. And this agreement ensures that 876 branded water will be available for free to our guests at various events sponsored or owned by Red Stripe. So, while enjoying your alcohol drinks, you will have easy access to water, and you know what water does, right? Water is what they say of life? I don't know either, but it says something about the source of life, right? Terry, I thought you'd have helped me, you know. But here's the thing, though, with water. It's hugely important. Other than the fact that it's a big part of beer, we need water in its purest form to help you with overconsumption or to prevent overconsumption. And we know the dangers with excessive drinking, but this initiative is one step towards safeguarding our patrons. We've always said spacing your alcohol with water is incredibly important. But really, why? First, it helps you to keep hydrated, because you know alcohol kind of dries you out a little bit, right? And it makes your hangovers a little worse than they ought to be. So by drinking water, you replenish those lost fluids, and it helps maintain your body's balance. Some scientific information there for you. Moreover, once you pace yourself with water, it helps you stay more aware of how much alcohol you're consuming. And remember this, it slows down your absorption rate. It slows down the absorption of alcohol in your bloodstreams. So we're giving you all of this to make sure that you're drinking in moderation, that you stay hydrated, and it prevents the rapid onset of intoxication, helping you to stay in control, to savoring every moment, to enjoying the event safely. And as we like to say, drinking and living responsibly allows you to savor every single moment of true togetherness. And this strategic partnership we're absolutely proud of. So ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for GK Foods and Services as they join forces with us. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us today because she's not feeling so well, but it is definitely something you will see. And just as a note of agreement, I'm going to invite one of the directors of GK Foods, who is also here. He's never been asked to do this, but we're just going to shake our hands as a show of this memorandum of understanding. I hope they won't throw you out as a result. But let's call on you, Dr. Ahi. Please shake hands. It's a gentleman's handshake. Daph, could you join us as well, please? All right, ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. I know. So you can tell them we wrote you. Absolutely, that's a good one. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to move on to another announcement. And this time, it is about the dance challenge that we had created. So, our other announcement that we'd like to make is that you would have heard Daph mention the Low, Slow, No campaign that we launched globally. And we wanted to land the message locally in a fun and engaging way. After all, we are the coolest beer company in the world. So back in March, when we introduced our initiative to our Red Stripe employees, we decided to add a fun twist to by creating a dance routine to a song we commissioned with I Water. Everybody knows I Water? I Water. So we wanted to make moderation cool and engaging. So we got a really great reception, positive reception to it. And we thought what better way to, launch it to a broader audience through our social media channels. And we invited our consumers to create their own dance moves to demonstrate that moderation can actually be cool. So on June 3, we launched the Low, Slow, No Dance Challenge on Instagram, and we ran it for 2 weeks. And during this period, this eight entries met all the criteria for the video submissions. And the challenge generated a lot of excitement. We had over 235,000 impressions and nearly 10,200 engagements. So today we have invited the top 3 participants to announce our winner, who will walk away with 100,000 Jamaican dollars. The second place winner will receive $60,000, and the third place winner will receive $25,000 plus some cool Heineken POS items. So the top 3 were chosen based on the most likes and a final review by a Red Stripe panel. So let's take a look at our top 3 videos, ladies and gentlemen, to the screens.
Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. How we go? Man, come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, how we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch out, hey, look out, how we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake, no big man. Choose a lower strength, drink, no instant. Heineken, red stripe, beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad. I'm also encourage people to drink.
Post a video of the Low, Slow, No dance challenge and tag Red Stripe Corporate for a chance to win 100,000 JMD.
Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. How we go? Man, come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, how we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch out, hey, look out, how we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake, no big man. Choose a lower strength, drink, no instant. Heineken, red stripe, beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad. I'm also encourage people to drink. Low, slow, no.
Post a video of the Low, Slow, No dance challenge and tag Red Stripe Corporate for a chance to win 100,000 JMD.
Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. How we go? Man, come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, how we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch out, hey, look out, how we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake, no big man. Choose a lower strength, drink, no instant. Heineken, red stripe, beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad. I'm also encourage people to drink. Low, slow, no.
Yeah, bad, right? I tell you, Jamaicans are so talented, and we are not a real place. Who does things like this? Them can dance, don't? I'm telling you. So, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winners. So, in third place, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, please. Let's hear it for Javon Hansen. Is Javon here? Daff, may I ask you to do the honors, please?
Yes. No. Come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, how we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch out, hey, look out, how we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake, no big man. Choose a lower strength, drink, no instant. Heineken, red stripe, beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad. I'm also encourage people to drink.
All right, wonderful, Javon. Really enjoyed your dance moves. And now, because there are only 3, I have to announce the winner, right? So, the winner in our Low, Slow, No Dance Challenge is... Come on, guys, drum roll, please. Is David Mitchell and Amelia King. Of course, this means our second place winners are Askia and Emil. So I'm going to invite our second place winners, Askia and Emil, to come forward as we present to you your second place prize.
Post a video of the Low, Slow, No dance challenge and tag Red Stripe Corporate for a chance to win 100,000 JMD.
Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. How we go? Man, come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, how we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch out, hey, look out, how we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your
And of course, our winners, ladies and gentlemen, David Mitchell and Amelia King.
Post a video of the Low, Slow, No dance challenge and tag Red Stripe Corporate for a chance to win 100,000 JMB.
Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. Are we go? Man, come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, are we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch ya, hey, look ya, are we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake in a big man. Choose a lower strength, drinking no instant. I'm making red stripe beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad.
Post a video of the Low, Slow, No dance challenge and tag Red Stripe Corporate for a chance to win 100,000 JMB.
Low, slow, no. Low, slow, no. Are we go? Man, come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, are we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch ya, hey, look ya, are we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake in a big man. Choose a lower strength, drinking no instant. I'm making red stripe beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad. I'm also encourage people to drink. Low, slow, no.
I think we can do a much better job than that. Can I tell you? One thing about Jamaican people is that we stay ready. I mean, to be able just to tell somebody to do something and they're just like, yeah, what? Say what? Now, because I'm old, I'm going to go learn all those new dances so that I can participate in whatever next challenge Red Stripe comes up with. Congratulations to all the entries, all the persons who really took the time to put together their dance moves. Congratulations to our top 3. Job well done. My asthma just could never. Thank you to all our panelists, to Dr. Claire Grant. Thank you for being here. To Tishan Lee, to Carlisle, to Rick Darby, as well as Andrew Brown. Thank you so very much for being here. For those of you who stuck and stayed with us, you're watching online, thank you for being with us. Thank you for now becoming change agents and for going and spreading the good word. Thank you to our keynote speaker, Senator Apka Fitzhenley, communication consultant and award-winning former media practitioner, to the executive director of the, well, not the executive director, but the VP of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Dr. Paris Leao Ayi, and our very gracious host, Daphne Tilburg, Red Stripe's managing director. Thank you for being such a wonderful, wonderful host. So to all the stakeholders, the invited guests, the members of the media, all, it is not just about what happens today, it is what we do with the information after that. Big up to all of you. Thank you for watching. This has been Responsibility Now. What are the 3 words? Low, slow, and no. Stay tuned to our social media channels for updates and have fun learning the moves. I am Terry Carell. It was a pleasure serving you as host. Take care.
Come on, baby, to the other way. Don't drink and drive, are we go? If you're not 18, just to the other way. Hey, watch ya, hey, look ya, are we go? Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Slow down your alcohol intake in a big man. Choose a lower strength, drinking no instant. I'm making red stripe beer, live long. Low, slow, no. Don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Bad. I'm also encourage people to drink. Low, slow, no.